Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela and today we're going to be talking about how I was featured in my town's newspaper, so let's get started. If you guys are new to my channel and you have never heard of me before and you don't know who I am, my name is Pamela. I am a 20-year-old content creator from New Jersey. I go to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York and I'm currently studying fashion business management. However, on the side, I do a bunch of other things. I am a blogger. I have my own blog called Glamour and Guide. I also have a agency slash media page where I post opportunities for students and anyone who wants to be a content creator called Valdez Agency. And then I also do brand deals and just a bunch of fun content over on my TikTok as well as my Instagram. And for the past almost 3 years now, I have been doing this, so it definitely is a lot, especially being a college student. And I'm also an intern in New York for a skincare brand, so I do a bunch of things. And while this is all going on, I share my experience with you guys online and on my YouTube channel as well. A few months ago, back in October, I was featured in my town's newspaper, and this was an opportunity that I am so grateful to have had, and I want to share with you guys exactly how I was able to do this, because I feel like there's so much that goes into it and the entire process, reaching out to people, doing research, and I feel like a lot of you guys could definitely benefit from this. So let's just get started into what is press, what is PR, and how can you get this kind of exposure. I have my computer with me, so I'm going to give you guys the exact definition because I don't want to butcher this at all. But according to Cambridge.org, public relations is the activity of providing the public with information about your organization so that people have a positive idea of the organization's work. For example, there's good PR and then there's bad PR, and certain brands have good PR, other brands have bad PR. As a influencer, as a content creator, if you have a publicity team, if you have a PR team, people that have certain connections with certain outlets and news sources, you basically have an in, and you automatically can get a bunch of good PR and put some sort of interview together. All of your information, whatever you choose to release to the public, whatever the interview is about, essentially people can talk about you. It is going to be out there. I know a bunch of influencers always do little interviews with beauty magazines, and they will always talk about their favorite beauty products, how they got into the industry, all that stuff. That is all really good PR, and there's obviously bad PR when there is drama and things happening in the industry. But any kind of PR, obviously that is good, is always a positive, especially to your brand, and you always want people talking about you. So now let's get into, I have my little notes right here. So now let's get into how I got the idea of starting to reach out to people, reaching out to news sources and outlets, and why I thought this would be a good idea for me. As a content creator, I feel like getting exposure is always the most important part of putting yourself out there, because you can create a million TikToks a day, you can put a bunch of content out there, but if you are not reaching out to brands and you are not reaching out to outlets and sources to continue to put your name out there, I feel like a lot of people are missing really good opportunities because of that. Last year, February 2022, it's going to be almost a year since this happened, I was in class and I had the idea. I was like, okay, I'm going to reach out to some people. I'm going to reach out to some news outlets that are local to where I live, and I'm going to see if any newspapers or anybody who has a digital magazine near where I live wants to do a segment on social media, maybe even do an interview with me. Again, I still am a very small content creator, but at the time I was I had just gotten invited to my first influencer event. It was with Revlon for their coffee truck event to launch their new concealer, and I just felt like I was on this high of this is amazing, I need to talk to people about this, this is such an amazing opportunity, and I really just wanted to put myself out there, just kind of make a name for myself. I was in class and I was I'm just gonna do a bunch of research and I'm gonna try to find people online that are local to where I live that maybe want to do a segment about me. And so I sent out maybe 30 emails, 35 emails, because there's not really that many news sources and outlets near where I live, and I wanted it to be more local to New Jersey because I'm from Jersey, I live here, and I knew that that would also help me get like the most exposure, because a lot of outlets like in New Jersey, there's not too many, but you can find so many emails online. So I was like, I definitely want to stay local to Jersey because this is where I'm from. I pitched myself to so many people and I was like, hey, my name is Pamela Valdez. I'm a content creator from New Jersey and I make content about fashion, lifestyle, social media. I also go to fashion school in New Jersey, and I would love to talk to you about the world of social media, the industry, how it's changing, how I'm able to make side income from that as a college student. Like, I just wanted to talk about my journey, and to my surprise, but also I wasn't surprised, nobody emailed me back. Nobody was like, yeah, we're interested. Like, nobody cared. And I was like, whatever. Like, I think I had like maybe 14,000 followers on TikTok, and I felt like no one wanted to do anything. So I got very discouraged, and that was in February of last year. So I was in class again another time, and this was October now of 2022. So it was many months after I had reached out to people. I had honestly forgot that I even did it, and I typed in something in my inbox, because I know in your email, like if you type in a certain word, you will get all of the emails in your inbox with that word in it. And I typed in, I think, interview or like newspaper. I typed in something, and all of the emails that I had sent back in February, I was seeing them all again in October, and I was like, oh my god, like I totally forgot that I sent out all of these emails. So after I saw all of those emails, I was like, okay, I need to reach back out to people, and I am gonna send a bunch of follow-up emails. So I sent every single person a follow-up email back, and for about 3 days, like no one had got back to me. Again, I was so upset, and I was like, this seriously sucks. Like, I'm just trying to put myself out there. I'm trying to get more exposure, and nobody was reaching out to me. So after I got very discouraged, one day, literally out of nowhere, I think I was just home doing nothing, I get one email back from a guy. His name is Daniel Israel. He's the one who did the interview with me, which I'm so grateful for him. Had no idea who he was. I just knew that he was someone who wrote articles for certain newspapers, including the Hudson Reporter. He emailed me back. He was like, hey Pamela, I saw your email back in February. I had completely forgotten to get back to you. It was the beginning of the year. It was super hectic. I had written your name down and I just completely forgot, but I would love to still interview you if you're interested. Let me know what day works best for you, and then we can chat. And when I got that email, like it felt like everything was worth it in the end, because 2022 was such an amazing year for me, and I know that if I would have had the interview back in February, it wouldn't have been interesting, it wouldn't have been that fun. And with everything that I learned in 2022, I really felt like it was just God's timing. That was kind of like, no, like in February, I'm glad no one got back to me. In October, it really made sense that he got back to me after I followed up, because I had learned so much from the year, so it really made a lot more sense. When he emailed me back, I immediately was like, hi, like, yes, I would love to still be a part of the interview. I am definitely still interested. And I think 2 days later, after that, we ended up doing an interview over the phone, which I will get into later, like how the whole interview process worked. But that was essentially how I started reaching out to people and how I was able to finally get an answer back. How did I find emails? How did I reach out to people? Like, how did I even find contacts in the first place? So as I mentioned earlier, I did a ton of research, and that is so important as a content creator, because if you can find brand emails, you can easily go out and try to find contact emails as well for press. When it comes to local newspapers, there's always an email somewhere on their website. So when I was looking on these websites of all of these news outlets, they usually have a section called contact or contact us or about us, and when you go to that section, 9 times out of 10, there is always an email there or some sort of contact submission form. So either fill out the form or email whatever it is on there, and then once that is filled out, you kind of just wait and play the waiting game. Of course, after a week, definitely send follow-up emails, but essentially you just have to go on the websites of all of the outlets and try to find literally anybody who you can contact. Another thing that you could do is also go on LinkedIn and see the people who actually work at these companies and try to reach out to them personally. A lot of the times they have Twitter accounts or they have like their Instagram pages for their work, and you can reach out through there as well. I know I have reached out to people as well who work for certain certain like higher up companies that do articles on influencers and content creators, and I've reached out to them through their Instagrams on where they do like all of their business work and their Twitter. You can also usually find personal emails on there for their work, and I definitely recommend doing that. Obviously not messaging their personal accounts, but if you could find any of their pages where they have all of their work published and anything that they have done related to the company they're working at, definitely reach out through there. So what was the interview process like for this? When we were talking on the phone, he was just asking me a bunch of questions about how I started on social media, advice that I would give anybody, brands that I've worked with, how I get these opportunities, balancing life and being a content creator, being a college student. It was really just all about my journey, and it was such an amazing, super sweet, short process. It was a phone call, so we were only talking for a few minutes. He was recording the conversation so that he could obviously go back and then have that to be able to write down. Yeah, it was just super short, just about my journey, and I am just so grateful that he got back to me and that we had the opportunity to do this, because it is something that I'm so grateful for, and I think about it every day. Even though it was a very small feature in my town's newspaper, like, it literally means everything to me, because I thought that since it's the newspaper, a lot of people weren't gonna see it and a lot of people weren't gonna read it, but it went on the digital website, and then it also went on the actual physical copy of the paper, so it definitely got a lot of exposure. And I remember a lot of people were going to my parents and they were like, "Oh, I saw your daughter in the newspaper," and I was like, this is so awesome. Now I have a few tips for you guys that I think will definitely help when it comes to getting coverage and getting interviews or just landing any kind of PR like this. So again, I wrote it down on my post-it notes, but number one is you need to stand out in the industry. As a content creator, you're not really gonna stand out if you are just like everybody else who's doing outfits of the day. This is how I do my makeup. Come day in the life with me, like that kind of content. I feel like everybody does it, but if there is something that you do in which you stand out, I feel like that is really, really great. Me, for example, I was not just reaching out because I'm a content creator. I was also reaching out because I have a fashion blog that I work on the side. I do interviews on there with people. I also have my media / like social media page where I post opportunities for students and content creators called Valdez Agency. I felt like those were two really cool attributes to me being a content creator, and I'm also planning on starting a podcast soon, so I really wanted to just talk about my journey when it comes to my blog as well as my agency, and those are two things that definitely have helped me stand out in the industry, because I'm not just a content creator and I'm not just someone who posts my outfits of the day online. I also do a bunch of other mini things, and it can be stressful, but at the end of the day, being just a content creator, I feel like it's not super sustainable in the long run, because one day Instagram can be wiped out, one day TikTok can ban your account, and then you're left with nothing. I feel like if you at least have a community on different platforms and you have different things built up, other businesses, that's why we always see influencers and content creators starting brands and makeup lines and all of these extra things, because at the end of the day, you never know when these social media accounts can be wiped, and we see all the time people get banned for no reason or people get their accounts deleted. So if you have other things to kind of back up what you do, I feel like it's definitely really, really good. That is something that I've always wanted to do. I've never wanted to just be a content creator. I've always wanted other things underneath me to be known for. So that is one thing, is to definitely stand out in the industry. Number two is reach out every single day and do your research. I mentioned before, definitely take advantage of LinkedIn, go on Twitter, and also go on Instagram and try to find any people that work for the news outlets or the sources that you want to potentially be in, and reach out to them. Don't stop reaching out, even if it's bigger sources. Like, you never know who is going to say yes to you. I've had so many opportunities happen, and sometimes they fall through, but at the end of the day, the fact that these people that are so big even reach out to me and think of me to be within these opportunities is just so insane. And if you never put yourself out there, if you never create the content, if you never really just stick to being active and posting, you're never gonna get the opportunities. I was someone who always looked up to other content creators, and I always wanted to be where their position was. I always wanted the followers and the brand trips and the PR, and now that I have this opportunity, it's so insane, and I'm just so grateful for all of the hard work that I've done that has led me to where I am today. And my last tip is to follow up. I'm telling you guys, following up is so important as literally anybody, not even just a content creator. Like, you need to be following up with brands, you need to be following up with PR people, you need to follow up with anybody, because even though I sent all those emails out in February, I followed up with everybody back in October. If I would have never sent him that, I would have never had this opportunity to be featured in the newspaper. Like, I'm telling you guys, you just need to send follow-up emails, even if you're annoying. I feel like sending at least 2 or 3 afterwards is like a good sign to just be like, okay, they really want nothing to do with me. I've had some brands like follow up with me so many times, and there's other brands that I forgot that their email was even in my inbox, and then they send a follow-up and I'm like, oh wait, like I forgot to respond to this. So definitely take advantage of following up as much as you can, because again, I would have never had the opportunity if I would have never followed up with everybody. That is it for how I got featured in my town's newspaper. Again, if you guys have any other questions, don't be afraid to DM me on Instagram. I really hope that this helped and that this gave you guys some sort of encouragement or motivation to want to reach out and be a little bit more different in the industry, and of course have other things to back you up that's not just your social media accounts. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video.